Namaste, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for joining us on this edition of The Right Stand. I'm Anand Narasimhan. The government finally seems to be taking the right stand rather than looking at post-action or something which is reactionary. They are trying to preempt trouble. They do not want to put India through yet another round of social unrest and mayhem that is being deliberately orchestrated by those who belong to an entity that believes it wants to alter India's DNA, Bharat's DNA. That seems to be their core identity or ideology, ladies and gentlemen. Their intent mirrors that of the Muslim Brotherhood. They are the ones who took to the streets when Osama bin Laden was taken down by the American forces on Pakistani soil. They are the ones who, when the Muslim Brotherhood was really brought down and of course taken to task in Egypt, they were up at arms. They are the ones who have time and again paraded on the streets of Kerala in a democratic India championing the Mopla riots and the massacre. These are entities who should not have been allowed to not just blossom but also gather deep roots within our society. But today, they have their operations spread across 23 states, much to the extent that even if the top two tiers of their leadership are behind bars or under detention, the lower cadre is still able to mobilize, organize, and of course, spread mayhem on the streets, vandalize. There has been a preemptive action today, part 2 of the PFI crackdown. Once again, from midnight to dawn, it was necessary. This preemptive action, precautionary and necessary, is this all building up to an imminent ban? Let's take a look at what happened today. These were largely 7 to 8 states which are governed by the BJP or somewhere where the central administration comes into play. In Uttar Pradesh, 56 suspects were rounded up. In Karnataka, 74 suspects. In Assam, 23 suspects. Delhi, 34 suspects. Maharashtra, 47 suspects. Madhya Pradesh, 21 suspects. Gujarat, 15 suspects. A total of 270 suspects across these states, which are largely governed by the BJP. And of course, in Delhi, the central administration comes into play, and it's the Delhi police that comes under the union government. More importantly, the crackdown today was not led by the central agencies like the NIA and the Enforcement Directorate. It was done by the state police, the STF, that's a Special Task Force, and ATS, anti-terrorism squads in a lot of these states. Yes, of course, the inputs came from the center, but these people were pointed out. Why were they pointed out? This is the CNN News 18 mega exclusive that we'd like to share with you here on The Right Stand. Decoding Operation Octopus Part 2. The second crackdown was driven by key intel inputs which were derived out of the first round of raids itself. The targets were identified immediately after the first round of the raids. Under the lens was this entire aspect of escalation into something that we witnessed in 2020 in the northeast parts of Delhi. The kind of rioting that was manifest, pushing to instigate communal tensions. They had started propaganda plans for even gaining not just local sympathy but international sympathy. They had already reached out abroad for financing or raising funds for legal assistance. So this is the entire legal battle they had to gather up. So they were trying to generate funds and money to push and mount a very, very big legal battle that stares at this organization and its affiliates whose members are currently behind bars, a huge number of them. So what's going to happen next? Detainees will be produced in court. They will be asked to fill bonds or sign up on bonds which assures against rioting. That means they have to take an undertaking that no matter what happens, they will not be involved in creating any act of social unrest or acting against the state or the government in play. By default, that means against India. Now, maybe released in the next 2 or 3 days. A lot of them are under detention or under preventive arrests, and they will be let out after an undertaking. But is this undertaking enough? I leave that thought with you. We'll ask our experts. The other aspect is, are we building up to a ban? Is this ban imminent? And we look at the contours of it, whether it's necessary or not, or is there a better way of dealing with it? All of that. So the government is set to ban the PFI. All preparations are in place to impose a ban on the PFI is what we are given to understand. This is Manoj Gupta, our investigations editor, getting us these exclusive inputs. Top intel sources and sources within the echelons of the government are saying the official announcement is likely. Very, very soon it's going to happen. Now, what has triggered this decision? Rioting after raids, it showed up as PFI as a dangerous organization. Then interrogation reports that links with anti-India global organizations which are working overtime via discourse, via academia, via social media, and of course with entities in India to destabilize this country from within. The interrogation reports also bid to destabilize the country comes out very clearly when some of the cadre who are behind bars now and office bearers who are behind bars have been questioned. Their associations have been linked. In fact, in the raids today also we are given to understand some of these people were found to have already established connect with some of their international counterparts, and this narrative being set. One is to draw international sympathy, create a huge furor internationally to put pressure on India, and of course locally try and generate sympathy along with creating acts of social unrest to give a perception that there is huge amount of ground support for the PFI, and what's happening is the brutality of this government led by the BJP and the RSS. That's exactly what's the narrative that's being stitched, and that's been unearthed. Let's try and get into the debate and of course the discussion this evening. Is a ban on the PFI imminent? When we say PFI, we're looking at the entire banyan tree with all its branches and affiliates. PFI crackdown is the hashtag. Nirva Mehta, editor of India English, is with us. Ambar Zaidi, social activist and a petitioner in the Honorable Supreme Court on the Common Civil Code, is also with us. Rajinder Kumar ji, former Special IB, Special Director, Intelligence Bureau, and Prem Kumar Jain, former IPS. Namaste. Thank you very much for joining us. It's the festive season, day 2 of Navratra. Somewhere it is also this festive period is bringing us good tidings in society where perhaps those who want to destabilize our country, who want to pollute our society, create social divide and social unrest, they're all being cracked down upon. A lot of people are thinking, itni der kyun wait kar rahe the? So others are thinking, chalo, finally kuch to kar rahe hain. But my first question, Rajinder Kumar ji, is that should this organization and its affiliates be banned now, or should there be a little more time?
Anandji, in fact, we are already late. This organization should have been banned, and I would say that while banning them, a provision should also be made through through the law, in preventive detention law, that the members of the banned organization like PFI would be detained for a minimum period of 3 years. 3 years. Without that, this ban would mean nothing. Today you ban, they will change the name, and in another name they will come up. See, in Pakistan, like Lashkar-e-Taiba is changing name every day. Jaish-e-Mohammed is changing name every day. India also, they are changing. In fact, if you recall, Mr. Anand, it was Islamic Seva Sangha,
yes,
which was shifted to Popular Front of India. Now, Popular Front of India, now it has further shifted to Social Democratic Party of India.